My name is Adebayo Akinpelu Israel. It's your boy Ajishebioyo from Oyo State, keeping it live in Lagos. I'm a filmmaker and that's what I do for a living. Yeah, film identity card, it's setting is Yoruba. It's a film about a particular tribe, you know, somewhere in Nigeria, suffering, going through starvation, hunger and drought. You know, as a result of starvation, you know, their crops died and they lost a lot of things, and they went to the forest to appease their gods, which is, as at that time they had the god of farming, which is Orishaoko. And Orishaoko is this god that blesses them abundantly, you know, after each maybe festive period and stuff. So they went to appease these gods, and the god told them all they had to do was to go back to their first love. That's the love they had for their tradition and their culture. And you know, they traded this thing with civilization. As civilization came into Africa, and you know, people tend to forget about their culture and their, you know, where they came from, tradition. And when they had these things, you know, going well, things restored back to normal. You know, the rainfall was here, people gave birth, and it's a film, a short film. That's it, basically. Film identity card, setting is somewhere in West Africa, you know, the Yoruba epic short film to be precise, and it's about a particular tribe, Yoruba people, who suffered hunger, starvation and drought. You know, it was more like a dry period and things weren't going rosy like it used to, and they had to appease their gods, and they had this god of farming known as Orishaoko, you know, which blesses them after every, you know, festive period. And in trying to get a solution to this great ill that is upon them, they went to the forest and a solution was given, you know, to them, which is their love for their tradition. They should fall back to that first love they had for their culture, you know, which was as a result of civilization. As at that point in time, you know, people tend to forget their background, where they come from, and when they did these things and, you know, went back to promote their culture, and you know, the tribal marks were on back and things went back to normal, things flourished, you know, reproduction, rainfalls, harvest, you know, things went back to normal. And the white people that were around us at that point in time even documented events, you know, promoting African heritage, basically. Yeah, that's what it's about.
Bídé mi ọkọ mi fàbúrò rẹ̀ lẹ̀. Ó sì mọ̀ pé ìwọ lẹ̀gbọ́n.
Èmi lè bí ń pa ní.
Bangami. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ìfẹ́ Bídé mi dọ́lẹ̀ mi nù. Bídé mi kí ló dé báwo lè ṣe dá kíní yìí nù? Bangami.
Ọmọ aráyé fẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ mọ́jà fẹ́wé. Ọmọ aráyé sọ̀kété nù ọ̀sáré tẹ̀ lójijì. Ọmọ aráyé fẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ ọ̀sọ̀ làpálàpá dìtàn.
There was famine in the land. Our trees got dry. Even the crops grew no longer. We waited for the rain, but wouldn't have water. The land withered away. Farmers went to their farms and never returned. But despite this fact, our children were still happy. But these terrifying moments persisted for too long. And days went by until issues got absolutely abnormal.
Ṣebí wọ́n ní bí iná bá kú ṣe ni máa ń fẹ́ rú bojú ni tọ́gẹ̀dẹ̀ bá kú ṣe bí ọmọ rẹ̀ ní fi ń rọ́pò ọmọ ẹni sáà ní wọlédè ni bára ẹni ò bá sí nílé tara tọmọ lọ́jọ́ kan Iguseka. Gbogbo wa la mọ̀ dídá fi pèpàdé ilé mi. Aboyún òbí wẹ́rẹ́ mọ́. Ẹyẹ òkè bí ẹyẹ mọ́. Ènìyàn ò sì fọhùn bí ènìyàn mọ́. Èyí tó ṣe ni ní kàyéfì jùlọ nínú gbogbo ẹ̀ ní àjálù burúkú tó ṣubú ní ìdílé Àdìsá. Ọmọ àtaya kójúmọ́ kan tó mọ́ ni wọ́n ti ṣubú ni wọ́n ti tẹ́rí baṣọ. Áwù! Ayé mà níkà o. Ẹgbẹ́ ẹgbọ́n náà, à ń lọ sọ́yọ́. Ẹ ń lórí kẹ̀tẹ́. Ṣọ́rọ̀ Àdìsá lẹ́sìn pé pàdé yìí. Ọ̀rọ̀ pàtàkì bẹ́ẹ̀ ńlẹ̀ ẹ mọ́rọ̀ Àdìsá sẹ́nu. Áwù! Àwọn sìkà, oyè tó kan ará Ìwó ó máa lè wá padà kan ará Ẹdẹ. Ìjọba ń wí fún. Oyè rí burúkú wo ni. Alọ́jọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ ń sá. Ọkọ̀ mi ò ṣe lọ dédé. Ẹ bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ ṣe pé nǹkan ń ṣológbò ní pàkó. Ẹ dákun ẹ wá nǹkan mi sọ. Káwọn tó ń lọ́ọ̀kù lọ sí òkú. Háwù! Àwòṣìkà, ìtì ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ lọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí. Ẹjọ́ ẹ fi mí lẹ̀. Òyì tó nǹkan tá à ń yọ àdá sí i. Àwòṣìkà. Bàbá. Iná ilé bàbá. Kí ni yẹn? Ìyá àbúrò mi àti iná. Bàbá ẹ̀ mú
Our elders traveled miles in trying to get a solution to this great ill and drought. They went as far as consulting the gods of the land. They got a message from Ifa, meaning a solution was discovered. The tribal mark, which is a tradition in the Yoruba land. These marks serve different purposes and read different meanings from different parts of the Yoruba land. Now, the rains were here again. Our crops grew, and our land was fertile once again. These people were happy, and the long drought was over. The drought was caused by the negligence of their forgotten tradition, which is their identity as a result of civilization. These marks were worn by young and old. Majority of the children who had these marks are some of Africa's most prosperous leaders and tend to come from a particular region of the Yoruba people, the Ibadans.
Ibadan is the capital. She was representing Africa as at that point in time, and she's the one taking us into the western region of Africa, you know, which Nigeria is, of course, and the first scene explodes from there, and that was the concept actually. She was representing Africa, that's the motherhood, you know, the feminine, yeah. Yeah, you know, when you refer to things like sheep, you know, planets, and you know, countries, you use the feminine gender. And the lady in the beginning of the film was representing Africa actually, and you know, she takes us deep, you know, to the western region where we see the Yoruba people, you know, where we see Nigeria, to be precise, and you know, the first scene explodes from there. That was just like a montage actually, yeah. Yeah, you know, the significance of that scene, the scene serves like the synopsis for the whole film, and that's the scene where the two boys, you know, quarrel over the bean cake, which is ole in Yoruba. The scene simply means when people tend to leave what's relevant and they go for the relevant things. And their mom there, you know, we Africans, African women to be precise, they have a way they talk to their children. You know, they don't address them like white people will address their kids, and you know, we just had to show that beauty. It's part of an African woman. And in the film, you saw the moi dropped and they were fighting for the leaf. They left the substance and started fighting for the leaf, which was very relevant. And it explains the film as a whole. And that's what that scene means, actually. Yeah, you know, the bluish feel, it's basically to depict that scene. You know, sometimes the cloud, they act like they want to hide something away from you, and basically it's just, you know, a technique, directorial technique for the particular scene where, you know, what happens next is the drought and the famine, you know, dry lands and stuff. Just a way of establishing my character. Yeah, basically the relationship between the title of the film and the movie itself is, you know, identification. Africans have a way of, you know, identifying themselves amongst other people. You know, when you are abroad and you see a black man, you can easily tell, especially one that comes from maybe the Yoruba tribe, the Fulanis, and you get even their way of dressing. I believe that's our identity as Africans and as Nigerians as well. So, you know, it's synchronizes at the end of the day. Identity card, tradition, way of life of the people, pure Africans. Yeah, basically the black and white technique, yeah, I just had to tell it because it's part of the story. You know, the white people were around us at that point in time, and they brought civilization to Africa, to Nigeria. You know, and the cameras they used then were celluloid cameras, you know, film cameras. And if you are not a filmmaker, of course, you might not know this. But if you look through, if you find out a celluloid camera, you know, most time it is black and white actually. So you see a scene where the white man had to, you know, film, because he felt documenting the event to be very, very essential and necessary. So he documented it, and with that you get to relate the two. He's seen it from his own point of view actually, from his POV, which is in the camera, and the celluloid camera, whatever. Yeah, I'm Adebayo Akinpelu, Israel, known as Ajishebi Ayawo. You're working with the best Village Square TV. Stories live right here.